Y'all ready?
Thank you.
They're down by 14. And Toretta intercepted by Teague. George Teague to the end zone. Touchdown. Hall is now right in the middle. That says blitz. Passes away. Penalty flag down. Lamar Thomas has got it. Lamar Thomas is on his way down the
About to get run down.
Teague is after him and runs him down. Takes the ball away from him. Teague's got the ball. And they tackle Teague back at the 12. Game's over. Alabama defeats Miami. Number 2 beats number 1, 34-13.
Blitz on from the 1. And they throw a fade right side of the end zone for Owens. He got both feet in. Touchdown catch over the shoulder. And here we go. Oh, they're going to have a big fight. There goes Owens. Puts it down. And he levels it. Here it goes. And now Teague is aimed at by an offensive lineman. Flozell Adams pulls Teague away. And Owens is waved to the bench. And he stands in the middle of the star and holds the ball out.
Let me tell you something, Brad. Terrell Owens started it. Emmett Smith went out to the 50, trumped him. Now Terrell Owens comes back, and George Teague said, you know what, I'm not going to take this. Good for George Teague.
Yes, sir, indeed. Good for George Teague. And welcome everybody into another edition of Teague's Take. Alongside George and JT, I'm IndyCar Tim. We are live from the Maverick Bar as we are each and every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Everybody come out and see us if you're local. Come out and say hello, have some beer, do some fist bumps, have some great food, maybe even some. I mean, we don't condone this if you're driving, but maybe even a shot or two. But, I got my Uber outside, so I'm ready to go.
That happens every now and again.
It does, especially it's birthday in the house. We like to celebrate with everybody.
Yeah,
sure.
and I apologize in advance because I'm eating these fried pickles right about now.
I know, I'm still waiting on mine.
Are you getting any of those fried pickles? Because normally you don't get any of them.
Yeah, somebody over here is always.
Yeah, that's why I got my own.
If you are not able to make it to see us live, we invite everybody to watch on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and George, I understand you got a little something going on Instagram over there too, right?
Yeah, so this will be the first time that I actually put this on live on Instagram. We've been doing it on YouTube and Facebook and Periscope, and right now, so all you Instagram people, appreciate you guys for jumping in. See Jada in there, and some of our other followers already popping in, so we're going to start doing that, start doing different things get more fan interaction, and maybe we'll have to drop some exciting news at the end of the show about some things we're thinking about doing with the podcast as well.
Well, we always love exciting news. We love moving forward. This is episode 15. It's hard to believe we've got 14 in the books, and we're getting this one going. Another special guest, George, another friend of yours, another ex-teammate of yours.
Yes.
That we're very, very proud and privileged to have on the air tonight. We've got Mr. Jay Barker joining us by video from Birmingham, Alabama. Jay, how are you tonight?
Guys, doing well. Hope you are. And George, do you have any pants on? I can't tell.
Well, yes.
Next to him.
I know. I'm not going to say anything about you either because you're
right. Exactly.
I did see you walking around there earlier, and it brought back bad memories of locker room experiences. Yeah, that was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you for
great. Thank you all. We got a little rain in Birmingham, but gosh, I mean, all the hurricane stuff moving through the next couple of days and next few days through the week, excuse me, and getting into the weekend. But it looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend. So excited about that with football coming up. But man, great to see you. Teague's Take. We talked to you last week on the show, and congratulations on this and number 15, I guess, right? Number 15 that you're doing tonight. So congrats on that, and all your partners, everybody. You guys do a terrific job.
No, thank you, man. And we're going to dive into some stuff with you, but Jay's brought to us by 3R Sports Graphics tonight. New sponsor that we picked up, man. We're really excited about him, about this company. If you are you're a high school coach, you don't have a sports media person, or something of that nature, you need to make sure you reach out to 3R Sports Graphics. Hit them up on Twitter at 3R Sports Graphics and give them a follow. They can tell you exactly what they do. So, Jay, man, you were. I'm sitting here looking at some stuff. Everybody always wants to know about national championship game that we had playing together, even the SEC championship and other things. I want to go ahead and jump into that, I guess. I actually want to start with the SEC championship game because I know how I felt going into that game that I was a little worried about playing, not necessarily because it was Florida, just because we were already 12-0 or 11-0 at that time. Going into the first championship game and wondering if we lose, what that would kick us out of the national championship game, most likely. So, what was your mindset going to that? Did you have any of those kind of fears?
Well, let's reset real quick. Who'd you guys play?
The Florida Gators.
Florida
Gators. Yeah.
Yep.
I did because I think, that was the first year of the championship game. And, we, at that point in time, the worst loss we had in 2 years was to Florida in Gainesville. And so now we had to go face them again. So I was kind of happy that we might have redemption, because of that game. But at the same time, here we were, and, Spurrier was so good at the chess match against Bill Oliver. And, Coach Oliver just did such a great job in that game and also the championship game, putting together two great schemes. But, yeah, I was worried because we were sitting at the chance and the cusp of playing for a national title. Now there's this new thing called the SEC championship game. But I would never take it back. I know you wouldn't either as far as playing it. I think it prepared us for the national title game, the pressure, the media attention we got from it. And George, I tell you, thinking you had to play or face a team that beat you the way they did the year before they beat, was it 35-7? I can't remember the final score. But it was – yeah, it was bad. And, the ball was flying everywhere. We couldn't get anything offensively going. I know Danny Woodson got hurt in the first half. I came in the second half, and we just could not offensively do anything against their defense. So we knew it was going to be a challenge. But at the same time, it was almost that we needed to go through them because they were the last team that had beaten us.
Yes, you're right. And you're bringing up heartache thinking about the
Florida game.
Because that was, and I've said this before, that was probably the worst college football game personally for me that I'd ever played in. I know they were picking on me that game, and for whatever reason, I couldn't cover that doggone corner route. And I couldn't tackle Eric.
Well, they throw it on time, so he drops back and he's throwing it before he's even set, and so you don't have a chance to even break. The ball's in the air before the receiver breaks.
That's right. Right. That was my one game in college where I said, man, that's never going to happen again. I can't be that guy, to get picked on like this. So, but you got a chance to get them back again, though, right? In 94 after I left it, or wait.
Yeah, but we did. Yeah. So, and if we win that game, then we lost by 1 point. So if we win by, we at that point in time, we would have played again for the national title. There's no doubt. We would have won more games than anybody at that time. Penn State actually went undefeated in 94, and they didn't even share the title. I think it was Nebraska won it that year. But, so 94, we went back to the SEC title game in Atlanta, and that was the first game in Atlanta. So we had the first game in Legion, the first game in Atlanta in 94, and, that's my toughest loss, really. Because we played so well, and we had a chance. We went up on a touchdown. Coach Stallings decided not to go for 2 and went for 1. And so we went up by 6. And I don't know if he was thinking to go down to kick field goals. Spurrier doesn't kick field goals. He scores touchdowns. So they ended up going down, scoring the touchdown and going up by 1. And we had the ball with about 30 seconds left. And
you're getting JT riled up over here.
He went an extra point up 5. Is that what you're telling me?
This was the 90s, JT.
Come on, man. This is simple. It's not even analytics. That's just math. You want to be up by 7.
Are you going to argue with Steve Spurrier?
Yes.
All right. You're lose every time.
He was good back in the day, But anyway, well, man,
it was good.
I know. So, I don't know, man. What do you think about that? You might make some people mad one way or another about this, but obviously we won the national championship team. But how good was that 1994 team that you were on?
It was good, but we were very inexperienced on the offensive line. We were we had to score a lot more in 94, a lot more than we had. 92, it was like, I just hand the ball off and make a few plays here and there. And then the defense does a lot of work. And you guys were just so amazing. I tell people all the time, the best defense I ever went against ever in football was in practice in 1992, every day in practice, going up against with a 7-on-7 team, third down, goal line. That 92 defense was just unbelievable speed, but you guys played so well together and just played great gap defense, but yeah, it's that 94 team was good, was really, I think if we had had a chance to play for the title, I think we would have won it, to be honest, because I think we've been there before and done it. But that 92 team is still special in my heart.
Mm-hmm. I'm sitting over here tripping on the comments over here because people were debating about how many yards you had in the national championship game. And
13. I can tell you right now, 13. That's all was needed.
Oh man, but
a little different game. I was doing it for Tua.
There you go. There it is.
Yeah, well,
I was prophesizing what was coming.
Yeah, I don't know actually how many yards you actually threw for in that game, but I will say that I
want to say 13.
But I know that
I think that's about right. It wasn't much. We didn't throw much. I hit David on a first down. I hit their players, I think, once or twice for what I thought was our players.
Yeah.
Gino and I had a really rough night that night. We talk about it all the time that both of us wasn't our best of nights, but win a championship and be a part of a team like that was phenomenal.
I was going to ask you about 18. Gino. Somebody said 18.
Somebody said it was 18.
You still
thank you. Yeah, I didn't want to miss out on that 5 extra yards.
Do you have a relationship with Gino these days? You guys still talk?
I do. And actually, I've had him on my show many times. And he's great. Alabama fans really like him. And he'll take calls. And he always talks about the only thing he remembers is what the ceiling looked like from the Superdome, because he was on his back all night long with the 2 bookends chasing him and putting him down and having to chase after Teague and Antonio and Sam Shade and Tommy Johnson returning his interceptions. But yeah, he's a great guy. He totally was like, you guys kicked our tails that night, and we did. They were so cocky. George, you remember going out before the game on the streets?
No,
and just no, you were not in the street. You were Pat O'Brien's. But I remember going out, and there were a couple of them were really cool. But some of the guys were trying to pick fights with some of our guys, and we finally all kind of got together and said, "Forget it. Let's just stay in and let's do the things we got to do to win. We can celebrate for the rest of our lives."
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
They were very cocky. It took almost, 25 years maybe for Lamar Thomas to actually really have a conversation with me, even though I played with him at the Dolphins. It was just out to here recently that he actually reached out and said, "Hey man, how you doing?" Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that
it's more than T.O.'s ever done.
Well, T.O. yeah, it's been 20 years. Like, we got to give him a little bit more time, another 5 years, maybe we'll catch up to him.
So is that Miami team, that was Dennis Erickson?
He probably didn't reach out to you because he thought you'd run him down.
And you know what? He probably would.
He's like, he's coming at some point in time. I'll just wait.
I'd be there like George, you better hold me back.
That's right.
Hold me back.
Hey,
how did you, George? What did you run the 40 in? Because you didn't run the 40 like in a 4.3 or whatever, did you? Or did you?
I did actually.
Did you? I didn't remember that. Okay.
Pro day at we call it at the school. I was at a 4.40 between the 4.36 and a 4.41 is what the scouts were telling me at that time. And then at the combine, I was still pretty fast, which helped because
you ran like a 4.0 in that one.
Oh shit!
It was unbelievable, man. You just tracked him down.
What I got, and I've mentioned this to people before, and it's kind of cool because someone took the video footage and you guys can time it, based upon frame or whatever. They said in that game, full pads, chasing Lamar down. I actually ran a 4.41 with the pads. So, but fear will do that.
Was that
too.
You that did the study, or was it somebody else?
No, I'm not smart enough to do that. So
I guess.
What was your 40, buddy?
What's that?
So what was your 40? Matter of fact, you didn't
shoot.
win that.
I think the best I ever ran was when Malamore was timing me, and I ran like a 4.56, but he was kind of slow to the draw.
Oh, Malamore.
Hitting that clock. But in combine, I ran a 4.8.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you did well, brother, because you had
Tom Brady.
he's slow, man.
Man, he is. I mean, his whole combine, you're like, oh, you're kind of like, I know why they didn't draft you.
No, because
they didn't have the metrics.
Jay, you threw for 1,500 yards, the 92, 2,094. I'm not exactly sure what you had in the other year, 1,600 yards or so.
Mm-hmm.
So your numbers are really good considering how much we ran the ball for you still to be able to throw, thousands of yards and have those kind of totals over a 3-year span is actually.
Yeah, I mean, I left as the leading yards guy. I think I had like 6,000 yards, if that, and I was the leading quarterback as far as passing yards. With that number wouldn't even stand for a year now, hardly.
Well, was there 707? Was there 707 team or anything like that? Did we do 707 back in the day? Did you ever get a chance to do that or really throw the ball out in the backyard and stuff?
Exactly. We did my senior year. We put together kind of like a citywide 707 in Birmingham, and we played at Shades Valley High School, which is now a totally different area. But we would go out and play like Mountain Brook, Vestavia, Homewood, Shades Valley. Trying to think, Huffman, I think, was involved in it. There was about 10 teams, and we wore flags, but it was pretty much 707 with flags, and which was, I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't anything like it is now. I mean, now they've got 707 leagues, they've got the Elite 11, they've got all these different camps. I mean, these kids come in so much better prepared, George, than we ever thought about being at that time. I mean, you're coaching them up every day.
Yep, that's right. So I see you tweeting out a lot or doing social media stuff on your kids. And do you got any of your kids that are involved in sports at this moment out in Birmingham or in college?
We're in college now, believe it or not. My oldest is 22. He's back working in Birmingham and going part-time to school. And then my next oldest, Braxton's a quarterback at Alabama. He's number 7 with 7 Barker. He's been there. He's a redshirt sophomore. And number 4 on the depth chart. So he's excited about getting that extra year back from coronavirus. So he gets that, and instead of having 4 to play 5, they get 6 to play this 4. So he's there. Harrison and Sarah Ashley are twins. They're both 19. They're freshmen. Sarah Ashley is a freshman basketball player. She has a scholarship to play at Georgia with Joni over there, and then so she'll be playing basketball in the SEC. And then he is Harrison's quarterback at UAB.
Nice, brother.
Yeah.
Got some legacy going on.
A bunch.
That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. How about your kids? What are they doing now?
So one of them, that's one over here. I
thought that was.
Yep. He is.
You don't even know how old I am.
He is 26 years old.
No.
You know how old I am.
7 years old. I'm trying to give him a year because it looked like he's 42. But anyway.
Oh, come on.
Man, he got all his mama's looks. Goodness, thank God.
Yep. Got her height too.
Yeah.
And her height too.
But he played at Drake football, played here in Texas at Hebron High School, then went and played at Drake, double majored. Very proud daddy.
Good for you. That's awesome, man.
Played some ball. Now he's doing extremely well in the engine. I guess I'll call you an engineer, or what?
Some people won't like that, but that's what my contract says.
Okay, yeah.
But what if your degree says? The question.
My degree is in mathematics and computer science.
That figures.
Yes. So
and he brings numbers to me, Jay, that I didn't even know they were numbers. Sometimes I'm like, what?
I love it. I love it. Congratulations.
Wait till you have a math class that doesn't have any numbers in it.
Oh God.
Yeah, don't let me forget. We got one.
I hate those math classes. When they put the alphabet in mathematics, I said,
yep.
Get it.
They didn't teach us that stuff at Texas A&M. I'm telling you.
They ain't teaching much.
So I got my first grandkid for granddaughter with him and his wife Emily. And then my daughter Jada. You may see her. She's kind of following your footsteps. I might need to put her in contact with you. She's doing some broadcasting and different things. She's at UTSA. She's a senior this year. She's writing for Sports Illustrated. and this other, I guess you call it a paper, the Bassano. There, so she's doing a lot of great work, in the journalism field as well. So we're all happy, man. We're doing good.
That's
Family,
awesome.
and now since I'm still coaching at John Paul II High School in Plano, and then being able to do this as well is really, really good.
It's amazing how now Antonio's with me on the show. Got Trent Richardson with me on the show, and then Lars Anderson. I don't know if you know Lars, but Lars, he was with Sports Illustrated for 21 years, Bleacher Report. He's written 10 books. He wrote Chasing the Bear. He wrote Storm in the Tide. He's a New York Times bestseller. I mean, if she's going in journalism and writing, I mean, he's the one to talk. He actually teaches at Alabama. He is phenomenal teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
Great
man.
writer. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
well, so tell us when you were growing up, Jay, and when did you know you wanted to be a quarterback, and did you grow up looking at somebody? Who was your role model, saying that, hey, that's who I kind of want to look like?
So I started playing park ball when I was 5 years old, and my dad and mom, I begged them to death. Finally, they took me out. My dad thought I'd get hit one time and be done, and I did get knocked down and got back up and loved it. I mean, I loved the contact. So from there, I was a running back all the way until my junior year in high school. So I played running back. I was being recruited as a free safety and played wide receiver. I played outside linebacker, just played pretty much defense, punt return punts, return kicks, and did not kick off, didn't kick field goals, but I held and I punted. So there was a lot I was at a big school like Trustful in Birmingham. So my senior year, our quarterback, he was with us. He quit going into our junior year. So I knew that either we're going to find somebody or have to replace him. And my high school coach, Jack Wood, came to me and said, hey, do you want to play quarterback? And, we'd love, we think you can do it. So I went to camps and went to the Bowden Academy. Actually worked with Jimbo Fisher, who was a GA at Sanford at that time. Yep. And really fell in love with the position and decided. So I played that and played free safety. FSU wanted me to be a free safety. When I went to college, they offered me a scholarship to play free safety. Alabama and others had offered me to play quarterback. I liked the quarterback position. I thought I'll keep trying this. So that's how I got to be a quarterback. I grew up loving Alabama football. My dad was big, and my mom big Alabama fans. Went to a pretty good bit of games in Birmingham. We didn't get a chance to get into Tuscaloosa much, but we could actually go to Legion Field and buy a ticket. At that time, walk up and grab a ticket. We'd leave a park ball with my mom would pack in a little plastic baggies, all these wet cloths, and I would kind of try to bathe down, put my Alabama stuff on, and sometimes I'd wear my football cleats and my football pants into the games, and just dreamed of one day playing. And I watched Major Ogilvy and all those guys winning the 78, 79 national championships. And my heroes were Major Ogilvy, I wore number 42, and Stedman Shealy, Jeff Rutledge, and just really admired Walter Lewis as well. He was one of my favorite players in Alabama history, and we're still really close. But he is just, I don't know, the epitome of me of class. And so he was those four guys, probably the ones that really stick out in my mind. But always dreamed of playing for the Crimson Tide.
Man, that's awesome, man. I didn't know that you could have been a free safety over at Florida State.
Oh, he could have took
you wouldn't have had any chance.
You would have had the red shirt there, buddy.
He didn't want to be over there with Bill Oliver trying to stick and click, baby. He wanted to stick and click.
Well, I know one thing for sure. If I would have been, I wouldn't have run down Lamar Thomas. There's no way.
You probably would have been in position to start with. You probably never would have had to.
Well,
exactly. Thank you.
Well, I don't know. Okay, so do you think you were faster than Chris Donnelly?
No, not Chris. Chris was a heck of a safety. He was a great safety. Got everybody lined up, and he would be right there at the right place at the right time all the time. So I really believe Chris. I think Chris is the only guy that didn't get drafted or didn't go to the NFL on that defense, and he would have if he didn't have knee issues. He had horrible knees. He would. They would put that alphabet soup on him every week. We call it DMSO. And, man, his breath would smell so bad.
People don't even know what that DMSO is. JT probably thinking, what is that?
No, sound like MDMA.
It's close.
Or something of that nature. So, oh, yeah. He's in Birmingham, too, right? Is he coaching?
He is.
Well,
very successful. He's had a medical company for a long time, and he owns his own deal. He's got like a surgery center set up that's like supposed to be, everybody tells me it's I haven't seen it yet. I want to go see it, but it's state of the art, and he sells medical equipment, but these doctors can walk in and actually use the medical equipment, perform on cadavers. So he like orders cadavers in, they set it up as if somebody's there in the bed, and these doctors come in and do surgery and stuff. I know exactly, but he's made a killing off of it. He's should be very proud. He's had a lot of success.
How do you get into ordering cadavers? And
Amazon.
You know, I know that's a big SAT word, but that's just, cadavers are just dead bodies.
Well, so
I'm gonna look it up on Amazon right now.
So, Jake, tell us exactly what you're doing now, because it sounds like you got a whole lot of stuff going on with your broadcasting, and you moved around a little bit. I know you were on Jocks and you know, having your own show. Tell us how people find you, man. Where do we find you to, you know, weekly or daily?
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, stations, affiliates all throughout the state. Here in Birmingham, it's 92.5 FM, 1260 AM, about to be 850 AM as well. And actually, the website, Jay Barker Show, is down. We're rebuilding, doing some stuff around it with the different stations and get plugins with them. So that'll be back up and running. So that's jaybarkershow.com. They can follow it on Instagram as well as Twitter. They can also follow me on Twitter, jbarker7, to find out kind of what's going on, the guests we're going to be having. But, yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, we, myself, Tony Curry, Aldo Greco did the show for about 13 years together. I mean, we woke up and spent 4 hours every day together. So we became very close. Cumulus at that time, about 3 years ago, was going through bankruptcy. And they decided to start making cuts all the way across the board. We ended up being one of those. And Tony has gone on and created his own classic rock station called K-Cast Radio. So you got an app for that. I started my own show with Lars and Antonio. And Al is now the golf coach at Sanford. He's been there for a while and doing a terrific job. But Al is on with me on Thursdays on the show, and Tony's with me on Tuesdays. So we get a chance to kind of do reunion shows each and every week, bring those guys on, and we talk Auburn with Al. And with Tony, we talk just about everything. He's crazy. So we talk rock and roll and all types of stuff. What's that?
Isn't Del Greco going to say, isn't Del Greco an Auburn guy? How do you have an Auburn guy on your show?
Yeah. I mean, he only gets once a week. Yeah, he only gets once a week.
There you go.
Birmingham. He got to broaden his base a little bit. Hey, Jay, someone, Gerald Moore over here on YouTube asked for you to tell about some of the practices going up against our starting defense and what were some of the unbelievable moments. You mentioned some things about the defense, but was there anything?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing was third down. Like we do third down passing down, so third and 6 to 12, third and long. I mean, I could never get the ball off. I mean, in order to throw the ball down the field that far, I didn't have a chance. I mean, the defensive linemen, I don't mean that bad against our offensive line, but they'll tell you, I mean, that front seven was just phenomenal. And you guys did such a great job of disguising blitzes, disguising coverage, and just made it tough on the quarterbacks, the running backs, the offensive linemen as far as picking up guys. But, yeah, I mean, there's trying to think if there's anything specific. I remember, going down the goal line and going ones on ones, which was, a lot of fun. And that was very, very, tough, trying to get in against you guys on the goal line. But we did some, and, I think that made us better as a team offensively, especially running the ball. And I tell people all the time, that, the reason that we didn't pass the ball that much because we couldn't pass it that much in practice because of you guys. So we didn't get much practice.
You got a lot of work on the run game. I tell you that. And it was fun to be able to go against each other and go best on best the way we did. It was very physical and things.
Coach Stallings was always about competition.
Yes,
he was always about the competitor.
Dude, we were going at it. Way too often. So, one more question, or maybe two. From Justin Riley. He says, what would you look like as a QB in the Steve Sarkisian offense?
Yeah, I tell you, man, he's good. He makes a lot of great calls. He gets the quarterback really going. And, I think for Mac Jones, he coming back. And when you step into that position after Tua's been there and, all the hype about him and what he did on the field and the second 26 throw, that was, I mean, I think for him, a lot of pressure. There were a lot of people, George, that thought that Bryce Young was just going to step in and be the guy, right? I mean, he didn't have spring practice. That hurt him. Not having summer practice hurt him, but that's where Mac really grew. He went off and worked with the guy one-on-one, did a lot of work on his own, and really just got better of handling inside the pocket. He's, the offensive line does a great job protecting him, but even when he steps up, keeps his eyes down the field. That's one of the things we talked about with Jalen Hurts, is that he really struggled with once he began to think about moving up or moving around the pocket. He kind of dropped his eyes down to the rush instead of keeping it down the field. And Mac the other day, I mean, he dropped the ball on the ground, picked it up, was able to then hit Mechie over the middle on a strike, and just shows that he's learned how to calm himself down in the pocket. And so being in that Sark offense, I think he just gives him, really puts in positions the quarterback, the receivers and the running backs in great position as far as how to use their talents and gifts. And I kind of had that. I mean, when Mal Moore was a run offense, but George, you were there when Homer was there. Remember how Homer was so different? I had Homer for that last year. And to be honest with you, I mean, he changed my career. I mean, he made me or allowed me to do more things and gave me more opportunities at the line of scrimmage to call plays, get out of things, get into things. And just the way that he taught me the position I'd never been taught before. And, and I tell you all the time, I said, look, Gary was an all SEC player his junior year. Coach Stallings comes in and that offense is next year. He really, look at his numbers and then look at where I was for 3 years. And then look at when Homer came back in and the type of offense we ran and look at my numbers and all the things that happened. I'll never forget sitting with Homer, and I loved Mal Moore. I mean, all of us did. I mean, Mal was like a second father to me. But Homer just took a different approach to it. It was what I needed was the mental side of that, of letting somebody let me make decisions at the line of scrimmage or do things and learn, those type of things. And also the fundamentals and drills we did every day. I mean, it was just constant. And Homer just, would beat it into you. And you would have to, really go back and regurgitate all the information to him. But, he changed up a lot of stuff as far as for me, things I'd never really learned at that position. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I was there, Coach Stallings, my first week, he's like, tell me John Mark could do it better. And, John Mark could do it better. That whole phrase he always used. And I always tell you, just get 7 yards and throw it. I'm like, well, don't we work on drops? Just get 7 yards and throw it. Like, all right, let's do it. 7 yards and throw it.
Hey, let me say,
Homer's great.
Yeah. So, hey, we got a lot of fan interaction right here, and it's great. I really appreciate you guys. We got Facebook fans, YouTube fan really hitting it hard. So I want to make sure we're reminding everybody that is listening that isn't on either one of those channels. You need to be in this either in YouTube or Facebook, and you have to make a comment to be eligible to win one of these gifts tonight. And you have to be distant, so you can't live right down the street. If you live right down the street and you're not in here, well, you're not eligible. You got to be living a couple hours away. Yeah. So if you're in Birmingham or you're in Alabama or you're in New York, we got people from all over the country.
Does that mean Jay can win?
Man, I got to make sure I do that and say that no guests are allowed to win.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't type anything over there in the comment box anyway, so he's not eligible at this point. So you still got time. We're going to have another 30 minutes or so of the show. And make sure that if you are listening that you get into YouTube or Facebook. Got to be on the Teagues Take page. Don't go to the George Teague page. Don't go to Teague Football. Go to Teagues Take page. Make a comment. We'll see it. Then you'll be put into the drawing, okay, to win. We will be giving away a signed mini helmet that I'll personally mail to you, okay? So I haven't decided. You know what? I'll just give you a choice, whether you want an Alabama one or a Cowboy one. I'll be able to do that for you after we decide who wins. Okay. Anyway, so, Jay, I just want to say, man, I really appreciate you more than you know. I know we get a chance to talk and catch up via the radio and all this kind of stuff. And, man, it doesn't seem like it's been over 25 years, going on 30 years.
I know.
Around each other. But just proud of who you are, proud of your family, proud of what you do. Thank you for continuing to be a good friend. And, my one request that I have for you is take care of Antonio Langham, man, because I know it gets out crazy.
Man, I'm telling you, I try my best. I do. I try my best. But we call him on time Antonio because he's never on time.
That's it, man. Only on exceptions.
I think he likes the come in about 3 to 5 minutes after this. He likes the introduction. Oh, here's Antonio. Dancing and stuff, getting all,
With that
crazy.
small,
But
very crazy. Wow. All right.
He's a great guy. But yeah, and he's done a great job. Trent's done a terrific job. I think he really reaches that younger crowd as well. And so it's been fun kind of learning stuff about him. And I mean, he's been through he got a 14-year-old daughter. I mean, it's, he had his first daughter at 14 years old and was, dad all the way through college. And he talks about all that stuff and is very open about his life. And I love that he does that. So, but yeah, man, it's been awesome being with you.
Well, figure out a way to get on the cruise, man. Figure out a way to get on the cruise.
Yeah.
Get them with your agent or whatever you got to do. Work it out because we have a grand old time with all those Alabama players on the island.
Man.
That is great. So, everybody give a round of applause to Jay Barker, man. Thank him for.
Thanks, guys. George enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
Jay, we appreciate you popping on. For everybody
Thanks,
still
guys.
here and everybody watching the broadcast after the break, we've got Money Matters. We're going to touch on the LSU investigation. And then, unfortunately, we got some Cowboys talk that we need to get into. It's gonna be a downer. Jay, you got anything you want to say about the Cowboys? Could you take
Roll
over?
Tide.
No?
Roll Tide. That's all I got to say.
We got a number 7 already. We just need to change the name on the jersey.
That's right.
All right, we appreciate you popping on. We'll be back
Thanks,
after the
guys.
break. We
Thanks,
appreciate
George.
you popping on. We'll be back after the break with George Teague, Teague's Take. I'm IndyCar Tim. He's JT, live from the Maverick Bar in Carrollton, Texas. Everybody chill for just a second. Hey, sports and sports memorabilia fans. This is IndyCar Tim. I want to talk to you about our new friend, Chris Gordon, over at the Cowboy House, cowboyhousesports.com.
Thank y'all.
Chris is super passionate about all sports, and that's why the Cowboy House is so much more than just a Dallas Cowboys sports memorabilia store. He's got unique game-used memorabilia and rare, hard-to-find autographs for teams across the globe. Everything from the NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, golf, UFC, soccer, Olympics, even from Hollywood and the political sector. And his store isn't just a fancy mall store. It's more of a man cave that he likes to share with his friends and customers. Come on into the store at 209 South Shady Shores Drive, Suite 200 in Lake Dallas, and you can walk on the Texas Stadium end zone turf. You can sit in a chair from Yankee Stadium or Texas Rangers Globe Life Park. Check out hundreds of autographed jerseys from hundreds of teams. Check out thousands of photos signed with certificates of authenticity. He's also got custom framing for all of your sports memorabilia items. Chris Gordon over at cowboyhousesports.com. 214-551-5978. Thank you, Cowboy House.
Need a one-stop shop for Cowboys news and happenings over at the Star in Frisco? Click on over to cowboyssi.com. Featuring Mike Fisher with 30 years experience covering America's team. It's the most popular of all the Sports Illustrated sites and home to the Cowboys Blitzcast podcast. Cowboyssi.com is the place to get inside your Cowboys. With such a talented team of writers and reporters over there, you'll always know the latest about personnel and roster moves, salary cap issues, and draft class status. Click on over to cowboyssi.com and always be in the know and get the inside scoop on America's team.
The Maverick Bar and Grill in Carrollton, Texas, North Dallas's premier sports bar and grill, located at 1616 West Hebron Parkway. It's 16 minutes from just about anywhere in DFW. With all the live action on dozens of TVs and the big screen, it's the place to hang out and watch the return of sports with all of your friends. Friday and Saturday nights, you'll find the best live music in DFW right there at the Maverick Bar. And of course, on Thursday nights at 6 p.m., you'll find us broadcasting Teague's Take live with Alabama and Cowboys legend George Teague. Come hang out and be a part of the show. Check out the Maverick Bar and Grill in Carrollton, 972-492-7500, or on the web at themaverickbar.com.
Hey, podcast listeners, this is IndyCar Tim, and I want to talk to you about some friends of ours over at ProfoundSites.com. That's Brent Thomas at ProfoundSites.com for your personal and commercial needs. We're talking about websites built, repaired, secured, maintained, and websites found. Brent Thomas and ProfoundSites.com provide e-commerce development, website development, online marketing, and web, mobile, and e-commerce consulting. With over 10 years experience, ProfoundSites.com is responsible for the creation of GeorgeTeague.com, where you can hear the George Teague podcast called Teague's Take each week. Brent Thomas and ProfoundSites.com can take you through the entire pain-free process of building your new website. From initial discussion to planning, to design, to coding, programming, and then finally the launch. Contact Brent Thomas at ProfoundSites.com or email him at brent@ProfoundSites.com.
Increase time inside your home, noticing all the little things needing attention? Let Repair Resource be your one trusted contractor to tackle all your home repair needs. They do it all, from electrical, plumbing, drywall, to painting and flooring of all types. They can even handle your exterior needs like fencing, patio covers, concrete pads, and decking. No job is too big and no job is too small. Repair Resource does it all. Give them a call at 972-415-1198 or check them out on the web at repair-resource.com.
Meat Church. Do you need to take your barbecue and grilling game to the next level? Check out the great line of products from Meat Church Barbecue. From seasoning and rubs to full-blown recipes like pork belly burnt ends, smoked queso, beef ribs to smoked bologna, and Texas-style brisket, Meat Church has what you need. If your barbecue and grilling game is lacking, check out their barbecue classes and events. They'll help you raise your game to impress your friends and family. If you're in the Waxahachie area, please check out their store at 205 West College Street or give them a call at 214-980-1063 or head on over to meatchurch.com for a location near you where all their great products are available, or order directly from them online at meatchurch.com.
Welcome back, everybody, into Teague's Take. Alongside George and JT, I am still IndyCar Tim, and we are still at the Maverick Bar in Carrollton, Texas, 1616 West Hebron Parkway, as we are every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. We appreciate Jay Barker for coming on, and we want to show some appreciation to the sponsor that brought him on. Who was that, George?
3R Sports Graphics. Make sure if you guys need any type of graphics or any help with marketing via your social media pages, you can see the new things that we're putting out via our social media. It's all done by 3R Sports Graphics. You can find them on Twitter at 3R Sports Graphics. Y'all give them a shout out.
We're going to get into some Cowboys talk a little bit later. Big trade. Well, I'd say a big trade. A trade was made today, and they're looking to trade some other worthless individuals that have zero stats that we're going to discuss. I don't know who wants to trade for Don Terry Poe because he ain't done anything. But we're going to discuss that a little bit. And then I got a question for you boys, a little something to think about going into that last segment. If you were the Cowboys GM, what one change would you make today? And I'll ask everybody watching too, because you guys are allowed to comment on this. One thing, one singular thing today that you can change about personnel, schedule, anything. Think about that, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But before we do, it is time for America's favorite segment.
That's right.
It is Money Matters with JT. JT?
Money Matters brought to you by ProfoundSites.com. This is more of a news update. So the news broke that LSU has self-reported and self-sanctioned themselves, most notably with an 8 scholarship reduction over the course of 2 seasons, which isn't really that big of a deal, especially when you think about all the ways that you can get around having an 8 scholarship reduction. It's not that they have to give out 4 fewer scholarships.
Right.
They can still sign up to 25 scholarship players in 2021 and 2022. What it means is if they do that, they have to take away 4 scholarships from somebody else, right, which they do anyway. They got walk-ons that they give a scholarship to, and then they get their big fish, and then they say, hey, dude, you're not on scholarship anymore, which is probably what's going to end up happening.
Right.
But the reason that this is a big deal is because there's been some recent developments in the story. As far as football went, everybody was talking about OBJ and him literally handing out cash to the players on the field on national television. Cameras caught him after they won the national championship.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
I know.
Dude,
couldn't you even wait till you got to the locker room?
We saw all of this happening on live TV.
Television, man.
And then at the time, people were like, "Oh, it was just fake money," or it was just
it wasn't people. The school said that it was fake money.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Man,
God Almighty,
he couldn't wait till they got into the locker room. That's crazy. But
He's got time to think about it now.
Yes, they've distanced themselves from Odell for 2 years, which big deal. Odell can't show up on campus for 2 years.
He just mail it this time.
Venmo.
Yeah, Venmo, Cash App, whatever. But the big deal that they're actually on the hook for, because that is, as far as the NCAA is concerned, which I don't know how this is only a level 3 infraction, but it's a level 3, which means it's minor. It's not according to the NCAA, that's actually not a big deal.
Cash payments to players from an alum is a minor
on camera.
infraction.
But the real problem is that they had a booster that was that is currently in jail, serving a 33-month sentence for embezzling money. Depending on where you read, you'll find a lot of places just say embezzling money from a charity. That's being nice. He was embezzling money from Our Lady of the Lake Hospital in Baton Rouge. And I've read further that it's actually he was embezzling money from the Cancer Fund for Children.
Oh, my gosh.
Over $500,000 worth.
Wow.
And $180,000 of those dollars went to a player's dad for a no-show job, which I didn't know what a no-show job meant, but
look, maybe that player's dad is researching cancer on his own in his garage. All right, we don't know the full story here.
That's speculation, huh?
So that's what they've got on the football team right now. And there's a litany of other things that all schools have to deal with. Improper contact. Apparently with Coach O, he was either a little too late or a little too early. Not that big of a deal. Everybody ends up doing this, answered a text message or picked up the phone when they weren't supposed to. So they have docked him 12 days over the next couple years or whatever. To say he just can't. He's down like 12% of his official visits or whatever. So also not a big deal. So their basketball team is also under investigation. So I'll take you all the way back to episode 1 when I was recommending that everybody go watch the documentary, The Scheme, with the whole basketball FBI investigation. Will Wade was suspended for 37 days or something like that for this FBI investigation, which some people have actually went to jail for this. It's not a
right.
It's a federal crime. And they were going to send this to a third party to be investigated to figure out whether they could charge him with level 1 or if it was going to be level 2. They wanted to wait till all the things happened. And LSU agreed to allow a third party to investigate so long as they didn't lump in the misconduct from the football team. Originally, the NCAA agreed, but this week they decided, nah. It's all going to the third party, and this is why the sanctions came, or the self-sanctions, is because they know that if they don't appease the NCAA, they can get hit with the dreaded lack of institutional control.
Yeah.
Which, if you look back at, Miami's been hit with it, Boise State's been hit with it. SMU technically was hit with the worst kind of lack of institutional control ever.
That'll never happen again.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of small schools too. Apparently,
they took their blue turf away. But anyway,
they deal these lack of institutional control penalties out a lot to schools that you've never even heard of.
Yeah.
And that usually comes with bowl bans, vacation of wins.
So nothing's going to happen to LSU is what you're saying, really, probably.
I think they will vacate wins.
Really?
I think they will.
From last year?
No, not from last year because
they're not going to have any wins to vacate this year.
They won't vacate any wins this year, I think, because the Odell thing was a level 3 violation and it happened after the game. Right. So anybody who did accept money technically would have been ineligible from that moment on.
Right.
The other thing happened in between 2012 and 2016, and they've got Les Miles and Joe Alava, the former AD, on the hook, saying they also had a whole bunch of violations. But Les Miles don't work there no more. Joe Alba don't work there no more. The booster's in jail. The kid doesn't go there. So they might get out a little bit easy because the people aren't there anymore. But if they're going to vacate wins, their national championship is still
good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So this is something we can talk to Brian Broaddus here in the next couple of weeks when we have him on.
Yeah, that's right.
LSU grad.
It's going to be interesting to really see what happens. I don't know with these self-sanctions and what happens. I don't. When you get caught on television red-handed, I don't even know what took you so
on
long.
National
it just should have been
TV.
That should have been a statement by the head coach or the athletic director or something pretty doggone quick about what happened. Now the other stuff with the gentleman that's
they got ratted out by their own player, right? Remember they tried to say that it wasn't real, and then Joe Burrow, who was like, "Hey, I graduated and I'm drunk on this podcast. By the way, it was real cash. He was actually handing us money." So I mean, he was one who told on everybody.
Did they ever get it back? Anyone? Did we ever get a story?
The school says they gave it back, but the school also said it was fake money. So who knows whether they actually
money? Why'd you have to give it back?
Yeah.
I mean,
what was
on that
Odell
logic.
thinking though, man?
He wasn't thinking. He was drunk.
Yeah, what were you thinking on the sideline?
Come on, you knew he was
you playing. That you just can't be on the sideline just trying to big ball like
you knew he was drunk because he handed out the cash and then got into the locker room and smacked the police officer on his backside.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost money on that one too. Didn't he get sued?
I think he got fined
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they ended up dropping the charges, but they did
really
try to sue him for assault.
Yeah.
They dropped the charges, probably gave him a cool 150 G's.
They probably gave him $2,000 too. Take this.
Here we go.
So like my question is, did OBJ like drive through the bank on the way to the game and have this premeditated?
Yes.
Man, when we win, I'm giving out hundreds and thousands and 500s.
Definitely. Come on, man.
Or does he? And I know these athletes, and especially somebody on his level, I know they walk around with 10, 15, 20 grand, like George still does every day. Walk around with 20 grand in his pocket. And did he just spur the moment? I'm drunk, man. That was a good play. You had a good play. You had a good play. I mean, you think he premeditated this, or does that just him being drunk?
I think he did because it's not like he gave it out to everybody. It was a select.
We don't want to go broke.
I don't know. That's kind of hard for me to believe that it was premeditated.
I think
it was as it kind of went. I think he had a lot of cash. He was away. He was, at the game, and he was going to go out. He was going to ball anyway, and he wanted to have his cash. And then he got caught up in the moment. Someone probably was tweeting at him or something and kind of hyped him up a little bit. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and show out. I don't know. I know we're ripping on him, but I hate that he got hurt and he's going to be done.
He probably had to sacrifice a couple of bottles of Dom at the club that night. That was the cash he gave out.
Yeah, you're probably right. I ain't even going to talk about Odell that much because Jada hates when I talk about Odell because I got my own feelings. And
that you mentioned his injury, and number one, it's unfortunate that he got hurt. It's unfortunate anybody gets hurt, especially the Browns having such a good year.
Yes.
It's such an integral part of that offense, but it's kind of ironic. He got hurt trying to tackle a dude after a Baker Mayfield interception. So it's kind of on Baker. Don't throw the pick. You still got OBJ.
It's always Baker's fault.
I'm blaming everything on the net from a couple of years ago.
The one that he proposed to, remember that?
Yes.
That was a good bit.
Well, we'll see what happens with LSU. I keep going back on whether they're going to get a slap on the wrist or not because Missouri got hit pretty hard for something definitely not as serious. Ole Miss is still going through their thing.
Right.
For the life of me, I don't understand how North Carolina hasn't been shut down.
Yeah.
But, who knows?
Yeah.
Mark Emmert, do something. Figure it out.
Well, great segment, brother. Man, that's true. And we'll be watching out for that and see what happens with LSU. And, I really didn't think they were going to win their game this past Saturday either. But they pulled out a big one for them to keep us in the hunt, keep them in the hunt, of trying to salvage their season as well. Now, this next part, we're going to be talking about, man.
before we do that, I'm producing on the fly here.
All right.
While we're still on SEC talk, I want to get into the Lane Kiffin thing.
Okay.
And then we can finish the show on strictly Cowboys.
All right.
So we talked about this a little bit before the show. So you guys saw the blown call by the – I don't know, maybe you didn't. The blown call in the game between Auburn and Mississippi, where Mississippi should have had a touchdown, but the refs didn't see the Auburn player touch the ball in the end zone, so they called it a touchback instead of a touchdown. And it was clearly a blown call. As a matter of fact, the SEC has come out after the game. Yes, they missed the call.
Why does the SEC keep trying to cover for Auburn?
Because they like Auburn. So, of course, Lane Kiffin's being approached by the referees after the game. Man, we missed the call, blah, blah. So he goes off. And, of course, you go off on the referees, whether it's on camera, on the field, off the field, whatever. $25,000 fine. So the article on CBS Sports was really funny. And you guys will see on the run sheet, I labeled it Lane Kiffin's Fresno State education brought into question. Because the headline is Lane Kiffin wants to pay the $25,000 SEC fine with pennies, but isn't sure how many pennies that would take. So his first tweet, this is on the 26th, he referenced a man who paid nearly a $3,000 bill to the court using all pennies, and he tagged a YouTube video, whatever. So he said, "Where can I find 25,000 pennies?" A little bit later, he replied to his own tweet, asterisk, 250,000 pennies.
Oh, still off by a factor.
And then he replied to that, hashtag 2.5 million pennies.
There you go. He got there. At least he showed his work, you know.
So then he cracked a joke about having the SEC review his math, and then he replied to that tweet. He said, "I was just checking to see if the @SEC would review my math to get it right this time. After future review, it's 2.5 million pennies. Thanks for stopping me to get it right." So just a little bit of comedic relief there from Lane Kiffin. I'm not a big Lane Kiffin guy. But, you know, when you call yourself out after you blow a tweet.
You don't like Joey Freshwater?
Nope, I do not.
Did you hear the story about that? You know why he's called Joey Freshwater?
I've heard, but I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember.
So apparently when he was down there coaching FAU, he would show up to the clubs and hit on college chicks.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of telling him he was Lane Kiffin, he made up a name called Joey Freshwater.
I'm going to start using that.
Yeah, Joey Freshwater? No.
I'm going to start opening my bar tabs. Joey Freshwater.
Get you a fake ID.
That's
just like he
funny,
had it,
man.
too. I don't know. That guy's a trip.
He is a
And
trip.
that's probably Saban probably figured that out, that he wasn't very good at math. Probably was messing up the stats or something like that.
I'm surprised Saban didn't reply to the tweet. This is why you're not in Alabama anymore.
Yeah. Oh,
So, George, you touched on it briefly. Of course, we've touched on it in previous shows. The Cowboys are just bad. There's no way around it. They may be the worst team in football right now.
Football history.
Well, their defense is one of the worst in history. They are
the worst in history so far. They are the worst in
NFL history.
Yes, as of today.
And they deserve every bit of that.
As of today?
Defense
or the whole thing?
The defense. Their scoring defense is the worst.
At the bottom of, they can't be at the bottom of all categories. Though, right?
No, not at the bottom of all categories. If you
points allowed, right?
Yes, points allowed.
Yep.
They are the
Yardage
worst
allowed?
defense since the NFL has been around ever.
And yardage allowed, I believe.
And yardage allowed.
Yep, which those are the two big ones. So it's bad. Of course, they lost to Washington football team 25-3, and they made Washington, by the way, Giga Maggies, they made Kyle Allen look like a future Hall of Famer. And, I'll tell you something right now. I'm going to make a bold prediction on this show, as I'm going to do on tomorrow night's show and as I'm going to do on Thursday night's show when I do my Cowboys Blitzcast. I believe that in Week 17, it's the Eagles versus football team. I believe that game will be for the NFC East championship. And I believe football team now
You think football team is going to the playoffs?
win this division.
Football team?
They looked, again, it was against Cowboys.
I know. How can you even...
They looked, dude, they've got a defense.
Yeah, their defense is
I
not
don't care
bad.
who you are. They have a defense.
But now no one has any, other than Eagles. Now the Eagles have an offense, kind of. They're getting hurt a little bit.
They still got Carson Wentz at quarterback.
I know, but he's still getting
best quarterback in the division.
Yeah, is he not the best
disagree
quarterback
with that.
in the division? Who's better than
Kyle Allen's better than Carson Wentz right now.
This dude, you just
What?
hate
Because he
the
played
Eagles
one
bad, don't
game
you?
against the Cowboys?
That's all it takes.
Dude, Carson Wentz going to carve up the Cowboys, too. Carson Wentz going to run for 150 yards on the Cowboys. He ain't even
Run
going to throw
He's
the ball.
going to throw for 3 touchdowns.
To who?
Doesn't matter. Pick somebody. Me. Shoot.
No, you know what? It'll be an interesting week of futility. It's Sunday night, right? Are we on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, it's a Sunday night game.
Yeah, can we get flexed somewhere else?
Flex to Saturday afternoon. At
We should be playing
11,
our games in London right now.
so nobody has to watch. Of course, Andy Dalton hurt in that game, and we got to see the greatness of James Madison's own Ben DiNucci.
I didn't even know who it was.
Well, I know
7th round draft pick.
I know who Ben
from last
DiNucci
year.
is because he keeps coming down here to Frisco to play in the national championship game against North Dakota State. And every year they get so close, and he throws a pick in the end zone to lose the game. It has happened 2 years in a row now.
Yeah, but is the offensive line even going to be able to slow
No,
down?
you know what? It doesn't matter who
anybody
plays
for
quarterback right now. There ain't no offensive line. Your high school JP2 offensive line could protect the quarterback better right now.
Jesus can't come down and say this team.
What I'm worried about is that, for one, but how are they going to get Zeke involved now? If they can't block,
They
can't
can't.
run block.
They
What is
could-
the
well-
offense really going to look like?
Like, it's just like it did against Washington.
I mean, that was bad.
You might
though,
score
man. We're
3
going
points.
backwards. Bro.
Really? That's
Against the
generous.
Eagles.
It's generous.
I said might.
Eagles defense ain't that great now.
Oh, they're worse than Washington for sure.
Well, I mean, the Giants' defense wasn't that great either.
So Dalton, he's still not cleared out of concussion protocol. First time in his NFL career he's been in concussion protocol. And he may not get cleared if he does it all until Friday. And I guarantee you if it's until Friday, he will not play Sunday.
Well,
We're going to have – this will be DiNucci's team Sunday night.
so let's talk about the hit then. First of all,
Dirty hit.
you know, do we all agree it's dirty?
Got a history of a dirty – I can't remember the guy's name.
He
Bostic. John Bostic.
John
But he
Bostic,
didn't
yes.
get any kind of
No fine.
no fine or anything
For that?
from the league. Is that? I mean, I know things happen and people.
So historically, when they don't give a fine for a hit like that, it's because by the time the quarterback starts sliding, like he's already started engaging the hit. Like a lot of times, and you can't hold up,
Right.
you know, and they're like, okay, this was not intentional. The quarterback, maybe it was a late slide. That happens. So, yes, you know what? It's still a penalty, but we understand the premise. There's no fine. Dude, he did not even start his dive, his spear into Dalton until after Dalton started sliding. Like he aimed for the head.
He did.
How
He
is that
did.
not a fine
You know,
and a suspension?
see what one of the, and I agree. He should have got fined. I hadn't got to the suspension part yet. I don't know. But when you watch people like, because when you're a defender, and this isn't this case, I'm just giving another
Right.
example, right? When you're trying to figure out if you need to hold up on a quarterback or not. With these guys in the league now, think about what happened with, I think it was Patrick Mahomes. Act like he was getting ready to go out of bounds, then did the whirlybird, then ended up getting the first down. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that in the game or not. So he's running down the sideline, fake, I'm going to step out. Guys kind of let up. Then he, gets another extra 5 yards.
Right.
So, as a defender, you're always trying to protect yourself from not looking stupid. Again, I'm not saying that this is what happened there, but you put guys in a certain situation, and I think officials are probably looking at it too. Well, what if, a Lamar Jackson, a running quarterback, someone, Kyler Murray, shit.
Right.
I mean, how many times these people are making just people miss,
Right.
and they're not sliding, where back in the day, it was always a slide.
Right.
Pretty much regardless till these quarterbacks started getting really, really big and really, really fast. I'm just saying that I don't know what the reason is, but I do think we have to be conscious of what a defensive player might be looking at when a guy is running, and you got to make a split-second decision of because we've all been on the other end saying, "What is he doing? Why didn't he tackle the guy?"
Well, it was interesting though that right after the hit on TV, one of the defensive backs, I don't remember who it was, that was running towards the play, immediately did that.
Did
yeah,
like
put his
this.
hands up on his head,
Oh
like,
my
what
gosh.
the heck, dude?
It was bad. It was
Like, he
bad.
even knew.
He should have. He's got to get a fine. I mean, someone has to appeal that. I don't even know how that works now with the deal.
I think Dalton should be the one that appeals.
Seems like if he has to miss some games or some times, that could end up, ruining a career.
It could, man. I mean, that was bad.
Mhm.
The Cowboys announced some players on the trade block for whatever that's worth. They announced earlier in the day, maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember. Everson Griffin, Daryl Worley, and Dontari Poe. Today it was announced that Everson Griffin's on his way to the Lions for a conditional pick.
Store credit.
Thought I said conditional 6th, but maybe I made up the 6th because I read on the way here as I was reading my phone driving in traffic irresponsibly that it could go as high as a 5th-round pick in 2021.
That's what the conditional means.
Right.
It is a conditional 6th. It is currently a 6th-round pick.
Oh, it is a 6th. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And by some
But I
miracle,
didn't see what
it
the
could go up
stipulations
to
were.
a 5th. Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe it's something like if he plays for the Lions and
Oh,
gets
right.
17
It is
sacks
how
or
many
something.
it is how many snaps he plays. It's based on a percentage of
Based on
times.
plays. Okay, not
So
sacks.
they'll
or
put
something.
him on a snap count or whatever. Just
yeah,
to-
which
Yeah,
I,
so
like I said, store credit at Kmart.
But I mean, does team really see a big difference between a 5th and 6th-round pick? Like, do they really care if it's 5th or 6th?
You might be able to find a better safety in the 5th round.
In the
than you can
5th?
in
It depends on what position you're in.
Oh, yes.
Or in Jay's case, maybe a better quarterback in the 5th round. 6th round.
That's right. So is he worth more than a 6th round pick?
No, I'm surprised they got that for him. to be
Yeah,
honest.
I mean, I don't think he's
on his
necessarily
performance
worth
this year.
that much, but it's just a bad look to me.
That's fair.
Where you're basically saying your starting defensive end was only worth a 6th round. Like that's the best that you could field was a 6th round defensive end.
What do we
that
have
you
to
got
give
out
up
of
to go?
we got a
high-powered people, at all.
no.
Right.
They need to raise the floor of that roster.
Well, it was decent.
It was decent on
at
offense.
the beginning. I thought defense was.
Yeah, well, I guess everybody but me. I wasn't enthused because I've always looked at the back end.
Hey, that's one of the best comments ever. Walter Moss
Like you,
says,
Walter.
drafted onside kick of the Cowboys defense. Keep getting up.
So the other 2 players mentioned are Daryl Worley, who I was not excited about, but I didn't mind the signing because I thought he would give some veteran leadership to the rookies that were in the secondary. He's done absolutely nothing except get burned. He has 0 trade value. Nobody wants him. And then we have Dontari Poe, who they announced is on the trade block. That, by the way, in the last 3 games has 0 stats. I don't mean like 0 tackles, 0 stats, period. Like he didn't even play. And he played 48% of the defensive snaps over those 3 games.
Getting double teamed, man.
They don't. Why would they double team Dontari Poe? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. So I don't know what's happening there. But,
It's really
so
frustrating.
I asked you guys earlier, the Cowboys are clearly broken. I've always been a supporter of the Jones family, especially
Yes.
Steve. And I thought, man, Steven's going to have this thing together when, God forbid, the day comes when Jerry moves on to the skybox up in the sky and Steven's running the team. I feel like he's going to have a grasp of what's going on. He's going to have a staff around him. Things will get better. But, man, right now, I just don't know because all of this comes from the top, right?
Well,
I mean,
think-
the Joneses, so, I mean.
Well, I've heard there's been different things with the way he's released some of those duties or responsibilities to McCarthy.
Mhm.
McCarthy for hiring the coaches,
Yikes.
having input on the guys, and things
Yikes.
of that nature. So there's a lot of, from what I'm hearing, a lot of information or a lot of stuff that's actually coming through McCarthy and not necessarily Jerry Jones. Now,
Right,
I don't know. I don't have any proof of that, but that's kind of what I've been being told. That there's a lot of freedom there. So I'm thinking that if that is the case, there may have to be some adjustments, at least from the coaching staff or these trades or something to try to put yourself in a better position for next year. I know that's hard for us as Cowboys fans to be talking about next year already because I know a lot of us were optimistic about this year, but man, I'm telling
The
you,
season
it's
was
gonna-
over after week 2.
Oh, easy.
Just saying.
Easy.
Yeah.
After they beat the Falcons, the season was over.
You think that was
So
it?
George, as a guy on the defensive side of the ball, we've talked about the grumblings from the defensive players about Mike Nolan not understanding his schemes.
Bet Everson Griffin was one of them.
You know he was, and that's what these other two idiots might be on the list
other
as
two.
well.
Yes,
that's probably why they're trying to be traded. But from a player, ex-player, if you start hearing grumblings about your defensive coordinator and people not understanding his scheme, and you told me off the air that clearly you were one of the smartest defensive players and you were expected from your coaches to explain the schemes to some of the other defensive players. Mm-hmm. And if you couldn't get it, then a lot of times the coach would just say, you know what, let's move on. We won't even do that one. If you don't, if George doesn't get it, then nobody else will. So what do you do as a head coach? And this is your buddy that you hired to come in and manage the defense. At some point, though, it's got to be a professional courtesy to yourself to you got to cut ties.
Professional courtesy to him to tell him, hey, put down the shovel, dog. Is over.
So I can say yes. So I've been in position in high school football where I hired a very good friend and someone I thought could do some things for me that it just wasn't working. And as the head coach, I did take my buddy to lunch and said, hey, bro,
not working.
This isn't going to work. You're more than happy to be able to stay on my staff. I'm going to move you to a different position, but I'm going to need another coordinator. And that was the hardest thing for me to do because it was a friend or a guy, but you always got to make the decision that's best for the team and for the organization. And sometimes that might mean something with your family member, friend, or whoever, because a lot of coaches now are bringing on their family members and different things at that level too, right? And that can hurt you where you could ultimately lose your job if you don't have the strength to be able to do that. So McCarthy might have to come in and Nolan and say, bro, I don't know if that's now. If you move George Edwards up.
Well, you would hope at some point up to this point they have had some conversations about things not working.
If you're that bad, though, because you're 6 games in. We're going on 8.
Yeah, this will be week 8 coming up.
Yeah. I don't know when the best time at that level to say, hey, we're about ready to make a change and try to salvage this, or you just roll it out. But I would think you wouldn't want to go down in history as the worst defense or in history. That's kind of,
and it's already happening.
That's too much. That's too much.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, and sometimes I don't know if it's all like personal pride. Like I get like, hey, I don't want you costing me money and my job because like I don't want to get fired and not be hired again because of you.
Right.
But at the same time, I kind of feel like you got to look out for your buddy. You be like, hey man, I actually think firing you might be a better service to you than to let you continue to handle this defense, because that's going to go on your resume and be like, hey, what were you doing last year? Oh, I was coaching up the worst defense ever. Oh
my God.
And this would have to be the last job Mike Nolan ever has as a coordinator, right?
Yeah.
If he gets let go here. I mean, he'll not have another shot somewhere.
Well, I'm going to put in my plug right now.
I thought you were about to say I'm going to put in my resume to the Cowboys for defensive coordinator.
No, but I haven't figured out why they haven't called Clancy Pendergrass yet.
They haven't called anybody.
That's where, even in.
You say they as the Cowboys or they just as an anybody?
Anybody, really. But specifically the Cowboys. He's a Cowboys guy. He's taken defenses and turned them around.
Right.
He is coached in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, taking defense to a Super Bowl.
He's coached all of the positions, linebackers, defensive backs, in the places that we're having issues with. So I don't know.
I have a guess on why they hadn't called him.
All right.
Because he hasn't put out his own promo video of him sitting in a basement with all of his buddies eating pizza and watching film. That's all he's got to do. The Cowboys will ring him up.
His fake year off.
Yeah.
Well,
and I have strong opinions about that. We'll get into that another show, though.
So we're going to bring him back on to have him come talk some of this.
I want to know what he would do to fix this.
I want to know if we can set them up with a camera like this, and we can sit around and watch film and point at stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll say
we'll get them a job real quick.
Yeah, we gotta dissect some film. That'll be a special show. Well, that is one of the things that I want to talk about.
Yep,
before we
special
get off.
announcements.
So we are going to start doing some additional episodes, some bonus episodes, where you as a fan, okay, can come onto the show, video, be with us, and talk football with us, ask us questions, give you an opportunity to just interact with us. Once we start doing this, it'll probably be on the weekends. We'll probably do it before a Cowboy game or post. We haven't figured it out yet, or before Alabama game or afterwards or before. And just have a good time with it. Break some bread, do a little bit of tailgating, talk a little bit of football, and maybe even have a little bit of fun by giving away extra gifts doing those too. We don't know yet, but make sure you guys stay tuned because I'm going to be working with my co-host JT and IndyCar Tim and figuring out some time where we can interact with you guys. This is the part that we love the most, right? Is being able to interact with the fans. We got a lot of great high-profile people who are coming on to our shows, and we're going to keep doing that. We got a great lineup lined up for the next 2 months already, but we want to reach out more to you, the viewers, the listeners, and have you come on the show and be with us and talk Alabama football, Cowboy football. I even saw some Steelers fans in here today, some Giants fans. Oh, man, that might be hard to swallow, but we're going to bring you guys in and let you talk a little bit too. So y'all just make sure you're paying attention to Teague's Take on all of our channels. That's Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also find me at Teague Football on all of those same channels as well. How do you find yourself, Tim and JT?
I am at IndyCar Tim on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I've got my personal Facebook, IndyCar Tim, or you can find the personality page at IndyCar Tim. Of course, the Drunk Sports Podcast, heard Wednesday nights from 8 to 10, live from Barrel and Bones in the Colony. On you can also see it just like on this program, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, where we talk all the national sports, all that good stuff, and we have a few beverages while we're doing so, and we like to interact with everybody. So we have a good time on that program.
What about you, JT? I know you're on a couple things, not necessarily like we are, but you're in a couple different places.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Teague13. I run the Teague's Take subreddit, reddit.com/r/Teague's Take. I guess I do other podcasts too, PSG Talk. We definitely aren't on a schedule, but PSG is in the Champions League again. I've likened PSG to the Cowboys of soccer. So if you just kind of want to become miserable with a high-powered, what is supposed to be a high-powered French football team or soccer team, and you want more reasons to think about the Cowboys, come join us at PSG Talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very
We
nice.
didn't answer Tim's question though.
Nope.
Oh, the
What
original question?
one change would you make right now? Just one.
Can I give you two though?
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I'll rank them.
That's not how math works, is it?
I don't know. He knows more about it than we do.
Well,
Maybe
I mean,
we don't
in
know.
a base 2
You
system,
deal in
2
zeros
is
and
1.
ones, right?
Well,
I
exactly.
don't even know what that means.
And 1 in zeros and ones is actually 2. So here we go.
I have a headache.
First thing I would do, fire Mike Nolan. Done. Simple.
Okay.
He's out.
I believe we're all in agreement.
Okay.
Second thing I'll do, or if firing Mike Nolan is not an option, and nobody's gonna like this, I would trade Michael Gallup.
Yes. I
Because
could agree with that.
apparently, we
In
don't
hopes
use
of
him.
getting what?
A
Anything,
safety?
anything from round 3 up.
So you want him for a draft pick, not a specific player right now?
When did he get drafted?
3 years
This
ago.
his third year?
No,
Yeah.
I mean when in the. What is he worth? In
I don't.
Where was he at? What can you really get out of him? But I think those are very good.
I mean, look, I know, people, because I was one of those people. I was like, look, we can trade Zeke, we can trade DeMarcus Lawrence, but you can't because
Gallup
nobody
was a
wants.
third round,
You're
late
gonna
third
get
round
hit.
pick.
nobody wants to take on those contracts that we just gave out to them.
Yep.
So
you got to pay at least half.
Right. And nobody's going to want Amari Cooper because you just paid him $100 million. So you have to trade somebody else. And you're not going to trade CeeDee Lamb. You just got him.
Well, and Gallup is, of the three, probably the least talented.
Yeah, I mean, he's a deep ball specialist, apparently. And that's the only time they're going to throw to him is when you need 85 yards with 2 minutes left to go. And it's like, oh, yeah, none of the rest of our receivers can run deep, but that guy can.
Well,
so
why not do something different and go trade for a defensive coordinator? I know you said there's
trade for a defensive coordinator
like for.
It's been done before.
Yeah, we need him. Who's at Baltimore?
Didn't the Raiders didn't Tampa Bay trade to get Gruden the first time?
Yes.
Yeah.
They gave him a first round pick, didn't they?
So, yeah.
Didn't the Raiders kind of? Well, I don't know. There's somebody else got traded more recently than that. You know what? It was Doc Rivers. Never mind. I'm thinking of Doc
in
Rivers.
the NBA. Yes, you are correct.
So I think you have to. I would agree with that. You got to do something with your defense. The offense, now with the personnel and all that kind of stuff, but you still can be better on defense. And yes, I think you got to make a change there somewhere, right? The next thing, since he got two, would be get a bigger yacht.
Is there a bigger yacht?
I don't know. Maybe we can get a new satellite dish on there or something. I don't know. There's probably something we can do.
So y'all did two. I'm going to do two. Number one, of course, is the give up that you got to fire Mike Nolan.
All right.
However, I don't think that will accomplish anything mid-year.
Nope.
So I aside from that, again, keep him, whatever. Let him figure out the year. I think right now I would name Ben DiNucci the starter for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Let it roll.
And let it roll. Wait. Let me rephrase that. Not for the rest of the season.
No.
As long as he can walk.
Okay, that's fair. I thought you were going to hurt. I thought you were going to say.
Who are the other quarterbacks? Who we got? We got somebody on practice squad.
Look,
Garrett Gilbert.
Fish was talking about this rumor of us trying to trade for Ryan Fitzpatrick, which I think is the absolute worst thing the Cowboys can do.
He can carry us through.
I'd be on board with that.
Carry us through to what?
But there's nobody to block for him.
Yeah, okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to send Fitzmagic to the hospital.
He is 37 years old.
You're going to give away assets, be it draft picks or otherwise.
It wouldn't be much, though. You're talking about like a 5th round pick.
We just the same. They just traded to get a 5th round pick.
But we can't draft anybody anymore.
Well, what about Foles or
don't hold this L. Do not. Don't
Start
try
DiNucci.
to. Jerry's not ever going to say anything like that.
You don't have to. They need to do exactly what the Jags did. Just get rid of everybody. Start over. Build from the bottom. And look, the Jags are actually a better.
We were talking about Zeke. And who are you talking about stuff like that?
Can't trade Zeke. Nobody's going to want that contract.
No, the only person that should not be eligible to be traded is Dak Prescott and Trayvon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb. Those are the only 3 people that I would say.
You want something of value? Trade Zach Martin.
Yes.
You'll get something for Zach Martin.
He's hurt now, though, right?
Yeah, but he's supposed to be back this week.
Okay.
Thomas Smith can't. He's
done.
He's a walking fiberglass.
Oh God.
He's the Carson Wentz of offensive linemen.
Someone's talking about Antonio Brown. What good is that going to do?
You know what? Go get Antonio Brown, and he'll infect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like he has everywhere.
Well, I mean, the locker room was already lost, so I mean, nah.
So yeah, along those lines, what about Dez signing with? That's another question I had for you guys. Dez Bryant signed to the practice squad of the Ravens. Do you see any chance that he sees a snap?
Yeah.
In a regular season game, and or scores a touchdown this season?
And or I'll give you the or. I think he does see a snap because somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's gonna be on the COVID list. They're gonna have to pull him up. Whatever.
Just by default, he's gonna get a snap.
Come on, everybody's been on a practice squad this year seems to have played. So,
how many spots we got for practice squad now? Like 100 or what?
No,
it's at least 20. Ain't it?
I don't remember what it was, but I did hear an interesting fact about the practice squad. So this year in COVID, the practice squad isn't necessarily the practice squad this year. It's not really considered that. It's like a holding tank for players for the regular roster.
Yes.
is really all it is. So I get that he's signed into the practice squad. You know, and I said earlier, I don't think there's any way he sees a lot of day in a regular season game. But that's a good point that somebody might go on the COVID list, and they might have to just by default bring him up and let him run a route. But man, he
might have to play defensive end. Let's find out what number he got first. I don't know. If he got number 98 instead of 88, we'll know something.
Also, if Julio Jones goes on the market, we should sell the farm and put him at safety. He is the best safety in the league. You heard it here first.
I don't know. DK Metcalf might be in there too, going to hawk people down like that.
Man. He pulled a Teague.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, but see, DK Metcalf, he doesn't have a full highlight reel yet. Julio Jones has a highlight reel of laying people out.
How old is Julio?
Doesn't matter.
30.
I think he as good as he is if he was with somebody other than Matt Ryan. Good Lord.
I mean, just anybody other than the Falcons for sure. I mean, because they can't figure out how to get him the ball. He had like 3 straight 300-yard receiving games, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're just not going to throw to you no more. That's it. We're done."
By the way, speaking of the Falcons, and we're going way over time here, but this is a funny conversation. They just find more and more ways to lose. Did you guys see this? Did y'all watch that game?
I did not watch the game.
When what's it called? It fell down in the end zone?
Gurley. So the Lions.
Oh my God.
Lions, just time's running down. Really, all the Falcons had to do was take a knee, kick a field goal with no time or whatever, and you win the game. They decided to run a play. I'm sorry, the Falcons decided to run a play. Todd Gurley up the middle, and there's like a minute and a half left.
Oh, you said this is Penn State, Indiana all
over again. But on Sunday, same thing. So, of course, Detroit's like, they're freaking running the ball. And it was so funny, man, because the defensive players made it look like they were trying
to tackle him, but let it go.
They're like, oh, he's so strong, I can't tackle him. Oh, I'm falling down. And then so he realizes, because he breaks through everybody, and they only ran from like the 8 or something. He didn't run far. He gets to the goal line and realizes what's happening, slams on the brakes. He's like, whoa, and he just kind of fell. And it was the end zone shot, from the goal line. Dude, that ball crossed the goal line by that much.
Yeah.
And the referee's over there. And the Lions, there's Lions players running up there looking at the refs like,
he's like, touchdown.
They're doing that. And then the referees run in, they're doing that, touchdown. And the Lions players are celebrating.
Yeah, it was
so funny.
And then they go down and freaking
win the game.
Now I'm getting really bitter because Consuela beat me in fantasy because of that too, because of the overtime. And then they throw the ball to, what's his name? Hickinson or whatever.
Hawkinson.
Throw the ball to him, and she beats me by 1 point. God, dog it. Anyway, man, see, let's get off this doggone show, man.
So next week you got to give us a fantasy update.
I can do that.
We'll do that next week.
Yeah, because the Rams really lost me a game yesterday.
Well, they played the Bears.
No, it's because all week they were talking about Tyler Higbee was going to play. He's going to play. He's going to play. And then 15 minutes for the game, nah, he's not going to play. So then I didn't have a tight end because he played on Monday.
Right.
I lost by like 2 points.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
I know, bad beats.
Andrew, don't even talk about it. I hear you, Andrew. I think I'm on top of the league right now, buddy. So Andrew's in our fantasy football league too. So
all right, very good. Well, that's going to wrap up the show for this week. We appreciate everybody coming out to the Maverick Bar in Carrollton, 1616 West Hebron Parkway, right at the corner. I almost forgot where we were. Right at the corner of 121 and Hebron Parkway. We'll be here next Tuesday. Get here early. The show starts at 8, but get here early. Say hello to everybody. Have some great food, man. Their wings here are amazing. I had the nachos tonight. It's amazing. They're amazing. Fried pickles is a staple on the show every week.
We got an amazing guest coming too. That should be in the house, I believe.
Who's on the show next week, George?
Mike Ducey from Free for All.
Fox 4.
Fox 4. So we definitely can be able to dive into some Cowboys or like that.
He won't hold that back.
Yeah. So
that'll be an interesting conversation with Mike, man. He's been in Dallas for years and years. I have a funny Mike Ducey story going back to 1996 that I will share with him that I'm sure he doesn't remember because he wasn't.
Looking forward to that.
It's a funny story. So it happened at the first ever Rangers division title game that they clinched out of the old ballpark in Arlington. That's weird to say the old ballpark in Arlington.
Yeah, because again, I'm standing by it. They didn't need a new one. I don't know why.
No, but they needed air conditioning. I am not mad about air conditioning at a baseball game. But anyway, we'll get into that next week with Mike Ducey. This has been Teague's Take. We want to thank all of our sponsors, Meat Church, 3R Sports Graphics, our new buddies that are on board with us.
Correct.
ProfoundSites.com, the Maverick Bar, CowboysSI.com, and, of course, Repair Resource. Appreciate all you guys for supporting the show and hanging out with us.
Did you say Cowboy House?
No.
No, I did not. And then, of course, the Cowboy House, CowboyHouseSports.com for all of your memorabilia and man cave needs. Go check them out. They're located in Lake Dallas. Got a cool little store over there. We appreciate Chris and all of his fine support. Are we doing the mini helmet? How are we doing the mini helmet thing?
Yeah, so now that all your comments
we've ended the show
here, so here's what's going to happen after the show. Give me a day. I'm going to go back and look through all these comments. We're responding. Most of you guys put where you guys were from. As long as you were away, out of distance, far enough away, I'm going to take all these names. I'm going to put them in my randomizer with Jada, and I'm going to put the names in there. So you got to stay in tune to Facebook and YouTube, and I will announce the winners on there. Just give me a couple days to grab it all in, contact everyone, and then I'll be mailing it to you guys. So just sit tight.
Are we going to do it next week too? You doing this every week?
There will be a giveaway next week as well. We just got to figure out how we want to do it and make sure we do it. I kind of like this with the people interacting.
Sure.
Actually. So there will be giveaways every single week now for a while. So we're rocking and rolling. Y'all stay tuned, and we may give away one, we may give away two, because
that'll be great.
Fan interaction has been really, really good. There's a lot of great fans on here, so thank you guys very much. And I'll be in touch with everybody through social media and let you guys know who won the prize.
Yeah, we appreciate all the fan interaction tonight, man. We had a lot of comments, a lot of questions for Jay and George, stuff we didn't even get to that we'll make sure we get to down the road. Make sure you submit your comments for Mike Ducey, your questions for Mike Ducey on social media. You can use the hashtag #AskTeague.
Yes.
And we'll record those, and we'll get those to Mike on the broadcast as he'll be live with us next week. We're looking forward to that from Fox 4 Sports. This has been Teague's Take. For George Teague, for JT, I am IndyCar Tim. Until next week, so long, everybody.